Welcome to the Mama's Motivational Messages podcast, where women learn to stop putting themselves on the back burner and start paying attention to caring for themselves first so they can be better for everyone else in their lives. I know you'll be inspired by the stories of resiliency and starting over, of health and self-healing, of gaining clarity through journaling, of showing self-love through world travel, and the list goes on. I encourage you to relax and enjoy. I'm your host, Peggy Kirkland, PK.
Hi, my midlifers and empty nesters. Welcome back to episode 3 of our Women's History Month mini-series. Today, we're talking about your social health, your friendships, and connections. And let me tell you that you shouldn't think of those relationships as a luxury. In fact, you should think of them as medicine. Medicine for the mind, body, and spirit. And here are 4 reasons why. First, connection helps you regulate your emotional well-being. When women share space with someone who listens, understands, or simply sits with them, the nervous system begins to settle, stress hormones decrease, and feelings of safety and calm increase. In midlife, especially during the empty nest transition, this kind of emotional grounding is essential. Think about it. Don't you feel better after sharing with another woman who sees and hears you, who can relate to what you're saying, and who can offer encouragement and inspiration in the moment? Secondly, strong friendships can also act as a buffer against stress, helping you process challenges more effectively and bounce back more quickly. In short, the right relationships can help regulate your nervous system. When you're with someone who truly sees you, someone safe, your body literally relaxes. Your cortisol levels drop. Your heart rate slows. Your nervous system shifts out of the chronic, low-grade fight or flight state that so many midlife women are living in without even realizing it. The reality is that strong friendships can help build resilience, especially for midlifers and empty nesters who are usually handling multiple layers in their everyday lives, such as career demands, aging parents, health challenges, and identity shifts, all of which can feel overwhelming when you try to navigate them alone. Having someone say, "I see you, keep going," can be the difference between staying stuck in overwhelm and moving forward. Third, did you know that isolated women age faster? Yes, indeed. One of the longest studies on human happiness ever conducted was a landmark Harvard study that followed people for over 80 years. That study found that the single greatest predictor of health, happiness, and longevity in later life was not wealth, not status, not even genetics. It was the quality of a person's close relationships. Women with strong social bonds had sharper memories, fewer chronic illnesses, less cognitive decline, and they reported significantly higher life satisfaction than women who were isolated, even if those isolated women were otherwise healthy. That research lets you know that connection does not just make life feel longer, it actually makes it longer. Finally, connections reinforce your identity and your purpose. For years, you've been defined by roles such as mom, partner, professional caregiver, chauffeur, organizer, and so much more. Now, as a midlifer and empty nester, you are rediscovering who you are. Healthy connections are like mirrors. Your conversations, laughter, and shared experiences reflect back your strengths, how you've grown or not, and your evolving identity. Those friendships don't take time away from your life. Rather, they help you remember who you are. Even with this knowledge, women can find themselves at the heart of the loneliness crisis. We've been taught to think of loneliness as an emotional problem, something you fix by cheering up or staying busy. But the science tells a very different story. In 2023, then U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy released what he called an advisory on the loneliness epidemic in America. He said that approximately half of American adults report measurable levels of loneliness, and that the health impact of chronic loneliness is comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Imagine that. Loneliness is like smoking 15 cigarettes a day. According to this report, loneliness raises your risk of heart disease, stroke, dementia, and early death. So 80 years of collected data finds that love and connection matter most. But here's where things get complicated for women. On one hand, research consistently shows that women tend to have deeper, more emotionally intimate friendships than men. We are by nature social architects, if you will, but we also tend to be the first to let those friendships slip when life gets busy. Does this sound familiar? You get promoted, you have children, you're sandwiched between aging parents and growing kids. You blink, and 5 years have gone by without a real conversation with your best friend. I'm hoping that this episode will help you reframe how you think about your social connections. In fact, I'd like you to think of your social connections like a garden. You wouldn't plant a garden and then just walk away for years and expect it to thrive. Gardens need water, they need attention, they need pruning and replanting, and so do relationships. Some plants in your garden are perennials. They come back season after season. Those are your lifelong friends, your core family members. Some are annuals, people who are in your life for a specific season and serve a specific purpose. And then some are invasive species. They drain the soil, crowd out the good plants, and need to be removed. Paying attention to your social health means being intentional about tending your garden. Not just adding more, but maintaining what you have. And this is very important. Knowing who energizes you and who drains you. Just like you would remove the weeds in your garden, you have to remove anyone who is not contributing to the beauty and peace in your life. The National Institutes of Health has documented that strong social ties are linked to longer life, better immune function, lower stress hormone levels, and significantly reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. Throughout history, women's survival has often depended on community, from quilting circles that passed along messages on the Underground Railroad, to the suffragettes who organized across lines of difference, to the mutual aid networks women built during the COVID-19 pandemic. Women have always known instinctively that we are stronger together. One powerful example. During the 2020 pandemic, women-led mutual aid groups formed at triple the rate of male-led ones, according to the research from the Brookings Institution. When things get hard, women build community. Let's not wait for a crisis to activate that instinct. Having said all of that, here are some practical ways to tend your relationship garden. Get out your calendars right now. Start by scheduling a recurring friend date, monthly coffee, a walk, a video call. Put it in the calendar and protect it. Or celebrate Valentine's Day, not just on February 13th. Celebrate it any day you choose. Create a ritual of celebrating your female friendships. Or you could join something, a book club, a fitness class, a volunteer group, a professional association, a sewing, needlepoint, knitting, or crocheting class, because a group of women with a shared purpose creates belonging faster than almost anything else. And don't delay. Put something in your calendar now. Reach out to one person you've been meaning to reconnect with this week. Send one text or one email or record one voice note. And just as importantly, be honest about which relationships drain you and begin setting limits there. To get you mentally prepared for the task, here's this episode's affirmation that I'd like you to write down in your journal and say it out loudly 3 times to reinforce its meaning. Here goes. I invest in my relationships and they sustain me. My community is a source of strength, healing, and joy. I invest in my relationships and they sustain me. My community is a source of strength, healing, and joy. I invest in my relationships and they sustain me. My community is a source of strength, healing, and joy. In closing, let me say that your tribe is not a distraction from your work. It's not a reward for when everything else is done. Your tribe is part of what keeps you well. Take time to attend to your tribe like you would your garden. In the next episode, we go deep into emotional health, not performing your feelings, not managing them for everyone else's comfort, not pushing them down until they come out sideways. We're going to look under the hood of your emotional life to uncover what's really going on. Okay, that's it for today, my beautiful midlifers and empty nesters.
If you've been inspired and encouraged by the positive messages in today's show, please take a moment to rate and review the show on Apple Podcast. This will help to keep the show alive. And remember, sharing is caring, so don't forget to share these gems with friends and family, strangers too if you like. Let them know it's available wherever they listen to their podcasts. I'm counting on you to share the love. Until next time, this is PK, sending you much light and a whole lot of love.